why do I get lots of Google Shopping clicks but no sales? Why are they not turning into sales? This is one of the top questions that I get from new clients when they come to me. They're having problems with their Google Shopping ads. So either they have been working on it themselves or they have been working with other people. They're kind of confused. They're not sure what's actually happening to their ads. Is it something wrong with the ads that's not really working well? Is it something wrong with the store? Like, what's actually happening? So in this video, I'm going to explain to you, firstly, what goes on in the minds of your customer, the shopper's psychology when they come to your store from a Google Shopping ad. What are the 4 types of customers and what are they thinking about when they come to your store, click onto your store, and then they decide not to buy? What's going on in their heads? And then in the next part of the video, I'm going to explain how can you overcome these questions or doubts in your customer's mind so you can make those changes to your store, make those changes to your shopping ads so you can get clicks that convert into sales. Hi, I'm Clarice Lin, the RI doctor who helps online store owners to double their store traffic and sales by scaling up profitable Google Shopping ads. If you are new to my channel, then you want to check out my playlist for Shopify store owners about marketing, as well as one of my free resources, which is the Shopify Marketing Guide. If you don't just purely want to rely on Google as the only channel to send shoppers to your store if something goes wrong with them, touch wood, but you definitely don't want to put all your eggs into one basket if you're a savvy online store owner. So do check out my guide, download it, link in the description and pinned comments. Let's dive into the video. When you're looking at a unprofitable Google Shopping ads, there are 2 aspects that you will start looking at it. This is what I do. You will look at first if the Google Shopping ad is getting enough impressions before you can get that clicks. If you're not getting enough impressions, then it's unlikely to get clicks. And then if you are actually getting clicks, why are those clicks not converting to sale? Which is the focus of our video today. If you're struggling with getting enough impressions before you get that click, the average click-through rate is about 0.86%. If you're getting only like 20 impressions or 30 impressions, it's unlikely you're going to get any click. If your Google Shopping campaign is not getting the right number of impressions, you want to check out my other video where I explain why your Google Shopping campaign is not getting sufficient impressions and what you can do to overcome it. Link in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Do check that out and bookmark it. If you already have that volume of impressions for your Google Shopping ads, why are you getting those clicks, but why those clicks are not turning into sales? There are 4 shoppers types that belong to that category and why those clicks are not turning into sales. The 4 types of shoppers. Group 1 will be the wrong people. Group 2, we're going to cover people who are not ready to buy yet. Group 3, shoppers who don't trust you. Group 4 is slightly less common compared to the first 3 groups of people I've mentioned. People who didn't find what they want on your store. Let's talk about Group 1, the wrong types of people. People who come to your store and then they realize maybe the price point is far beyond what they would pay for, even though they might see a nice picture, they quite like your product. Or maybe they saw something from your picture, they thought it was what they're looking for, but they found out that it was not. And most of the time when you get this issue, it's mostly due to your Google product feed. The product feed that you set up connecting from your Shopify store or your e-commerce store, and then you set up a feed to your Google Merchant Center. Maybe the pictures is not correctly reflecting what your product is about. Or maybe you didn't put the right keywords in your product title. You're not getting the right reach for this type of people searching for certain keywords. Maybe your description doesn't have enough phrases or associated words, so Google struggles to show your products to the right people. They're maybe showing to people who are kind of looking around, but they might not be like looking to buy. And the best way to mitigate this is actually to make sure that your Google product feed is optimize. Make sure you are fully utilizing the product title, which has 150 characters. Put the correct keywords in there. Try to put it in the right sequence so people searching for it in a certain order. Google is more likely to show your ads to those people who are looking to buy. Product title is what Google uses as the primary indicator. Within your product description, you want to make sure the words that you're putting in there, your descriptive point, your selling point is supporting that title as well to expand on what your title is promising to the shoppers. You want to make sure you are leveraging on that full description you are sending to Google, because what happens is for Google Shopping ads, you're not able to decide what other search terms you want to show your products for. Google doesn't allow you to do that, unlike the typical Google search ad. In Google Shopping ads, after you set up the ad, then Google will decide based on the information that you put into your title, your description, your images, and all the other attributes. Then Google will decide, okay, based on all of this information that you provided in your feed, we have a mapping table over there, and this will trigger your ad when searchers are looking for it. And this explains why sometimes when you key in your words in Google search, you see the carousel ads showing up, the Google Shopping ads showing up, and why in some instances, Google knows that you are not shopping for products, you are just doing some research, you're finding some information, and they don't show you any products to buy. Because Google doesn't want to annoy the users, they only put your ad only when they think you are planning to buy something, or you're doing your product research, deciding or shortlisting, doing a comparison. Google is very clear about that. What this means is because we don't know what is Google's internal mapping table, you want to make sure that you are putting yourself in the shoes of the customers, what they are searching for, what information they have, and you put all of this into your product description. And the most important keywords, you put it in the title. And then all the other attributes, you put it in, so Google's algorithms able to categorize those words into, let's say, the product dimensions, the product weight, what type of people would be most suitable for this product. You want to help Google to understand those information instead of having those blob of text in the description. Is a great way for Google to understand the entire context of your product, but you also want to leverage on using the other attributes, fill them in. Google will know how to prioritize and work out what are the keywords to show your shopping ads to. In this video, I'm not going to go into the details of how to optimize that, but if you want to learn more about how to optimize your product title, check the link out in the top right hand corner of the screen about optimizing product titles to get the most amount of clicks, as well as how to optimize your product descriptions to get as many clicks as possible. Link in the top right hand corner of the screen. So do check that out. That will be your starting point to optimize your feed and reduce the chances of your ad being shown to the wrong people. Let's now go on to the second group of people. People who are not ready to buy. We have all been there. Like, how many of us actually go online or go onto Google, go onto it and then type in the words and then see the first product, you click and then you buy immediately? Most of us don't do that. Apparently, to a couple of current research online for e-commerce store, what happens is for products that is priced between $0 to $100, most of them, their first starting point of research is actually Amazon, is not Google Shopping. But if a product is priced above 100, then they are more likely to start from Google search, which then enables your Google Shopping ad to show up when people are searching for it. I mean, you can have a different strategy altogether. You don't need to rely on Google Shopping. You can also put a couple of products if you want to promote to put on Amazon. That's kind of like different video altogether. But that's a food for thought for you to investigate further. Research study of shoppers' psychology, right? Shoppers in the US and UK, most of the time, if they're deciding to buy products between $50 to $100, they would go through a number of different resources. They will go to social media, they might go to the brand website, they might go to a comparison website, they might go to other news outlet websites. So they go through a number of different resources, shortlisting different competitors before they decide to buy. And sometimes this can take them from any time between 2 weeks to 3 weeks. This is very common. What this means is, let's say if they are on their research journey and they see your Google Shopping ad, then they click on it to get to your store. And then what happens is, well, they are not ready to click yet. Maybe they're shortlisting products. They want to see, okay, maybe they come to your store, they look at a couple of products, they're like, oh yeah, the price range is about right, fall within my budget. Okay, so they're interested. They say, okay, good. And then they look for further information to see if it's worthwhile. They want to get more signals. Maybe they want to see reviews. And that's the other things that people are looking for reviews. They don't want to be the first person to buy from your store. There are not many people who want to try a product if nobody else has tried it before. So if you don't have any reviews, you don't have any influencers promoting about your products to do a review of your products, then if you want to target the majority of the people who want to wait to hear other people's feedback before they decide to buy, during this decision-making journey, they are looking for reviews from other shoppers, other customers who have bought before, what they think about it, what really make them excited about the product after they receive it, how they have best make use of it, whether they're going to buy it again. That's kind of one of these things. You want to make sure you have that. So when you have Google Merchant Center feed, you can actually also choose to have your customer rating, if you enable it in Google Merchant Center, to have these ratings underneath your product. When customers see your product ad, your Google Shopping product ad, they can see not just your title, your image, they will also see that little stars that you can see on that. For those products that have those stars, I mean, doesn't matter like how bad the star is, they have some stars. Some people are willing to check out to see what people wrote in more detail. Sometimes it's not just about the star. People are still willing to buy a product if you have like an overall 3-star or 4-star rating. You don't have to be worried. I mean, they understand that every product is not for everybody. So they understand that some people who bought the product is not suitable for them, but then it's okay because they don't belong to that category. The person who was not happy with that product, why they gave you maybe 2-star or 3-star, they are like, oh, okay, that feature is not important for me, so they will still buy from the store. If someone who gave a 4-star review says, okay, we have this feature A, B, and C, they were really good and was really valuable and helpful for me after I bought this, it will go, oh yes, feature A, B, C is really important for me too. Let's go with this, let's buy. You don't have to be worried if you get negative review. It's not the end of the world. You just want to know what is the precise feedback. If you get more descriptive feedback, that's even better, because then customers will know, I mean, potential shoppers or potential customers will be able to know precisely why that product was good for that shopper, the customer who bought before them. Assure these potential customers by having those review on your store, as well as if you have social media, if you have like customers who bought your products and they're sharing on social media, and you can highlight that on your social media handlers, that will be even better because you have other people speaking for you and their testimonials speak louder than what you trumpet about your own products. During their research journey, this is what shoppers are looking out for. They're looking for ratings, they are looking at your store's trustworthiness, so they would likely also check out your social media handlers. You want to make sure you have an active social media handler if they're checking it out. You want to make sure your store is providing as much information as possible, everything about your policy as well. You kind of want to put it in so they can collect this information. Let's say if you are offering delivery within 2 days and maybe they want their products within a certain days, maybe that quick shipping schedule turnaround is something that will make them decide to buy if they are comparing your product against another competitor. Return policy, so they have confidence. If they don't like it, they will be able to return. And then contact information as well, you put that in. They want to know if they can contact you, if they have further information about your product. You want to put it in as well. So during their research journey, if they have some questions about your product, if you have customization, you want to make sure that your contact information is available for them to contact you. Because these are the consideration factors that shoppers prioritize. As long as you have answers for those queries of theirs and your product is able to align to what they're looking for, then most likely they might not even decide to look further beyond your product. So most of the time, people who click on your ad and buy straight away, maybe it's because they have seen through a couple of other products. So when they came to the store, they know straight away they want to buy from you. So they'll just click on it and they will just buy. Some people don't spend too much time thinking about it. Maybe they have bought certain products before in the past, they have experience, they already have thought about your products beforehand, or they have heard some people recommending your store. They would buy straight away, but not everyone's like that. If there is a new shopper clicking on your ad, coming to your store, having no idea what's your store about, why is your store's product so special, is your store offering a certain level of quality guarantee for that products, and when are they going to receive it, how much is it going to cost in total, all of these needs to be really clear for them. When they make that decision, it's very straightforward. Even if they leave, they don't buy after that first click, they might buy at a later date in a few days time or in a 1 or 2 weeks time. But I've seen this in some of my analytics in a Shopify store for my clients. Between the first click when they click on their Google Shopping ads versus later on when they buy, sometimes it can range anywhere from a couple of days, sometime later in the day, or in a couple of weeks. So we don't know. Everyone's buying journey is different. Everyone has different consideration in their mind. You have to be patient, but at the same time, make sure you have those information, those details in place so the customers know, oh yes, the price is matching, the product quality is matching, customers say that it's good. They have this mental tick or checklist that they say it fits into a category, and then they will just buy. Even though if they don't click after that first buy, they will buy at a later date. So to make sure you have those information and put yourself in the shoes of your customers. If you find this a little bit hard to comprehend, try to imagine yourself when you're buying a product that's worth between $0 to $50 or $0 to £50. What's your research journey like? Or if you're buying something of a higher price point, or you can ask your friends, like what do they look at if they're buying online? What do they think about? So you have a better clue of what other people are thinking about when they are buying products from an online store. And I want to add on one last part is, if your product is worth over $100 or more, these are big price point products that people will take a longer time to decide. I mean, depending on, of course, their average household income. Typically for bigger items, people will take a longer time to research. From that first click to the subsequent click, it might take a longer time for you to see that click. If you're running your Google Shopping ad for 1 month and you're not seeing any sales yet, then you don't have to worry. You want to think about how long does it take for them to research, and how long would it take to make that decision to buy. But if you are continuously getting many clicks for 3 months or so and 0 sales, or 6 months and you're not getting like minimal to 0 sales, then obviously there's something wrong and you want to analyze further and find out how to fix that. And that's when we come to group number 3, people who click and don't buy. This is typically for store owners who are running Google Shopping ads for like 3 months or to 6 months or so, and you're not seeing like good results, or it's not being profitable. You're getting many clicks, you're not seeing that sales coming in. You're putting a lot into ad budget, you're waiting and waiting and waiting, but no sales are coming in. And this is why. Because people who click on your ad, come to your store, they don't trust you. So if they don't trust you, they don't trust your store, they don't trust what you're selling, they don't have confidence in you, then they're not going to buy. How do you mitigate this obstacle of no trust? How can you establish trust with your shopper and help them buy from you? By being as transparent as possible. That means you provide as much information about your product as possible. Maybe having an FAQ section about the quality of your products. Maybe letting them know who is the store owner, who are you, what's your store about. Having more reviews, feedback from other customers before them, what they have bought and what they have talked about your product. And if you have social media as well, share with them the handler so that they can check it out. You provide the product image as clearly as possible, give them a good experience. If you have a video clip of how your products look like, you can also put it in. Give them as much information as possible about your products. Don't keep all this information thinking, oh, if they come and see your store, just because you are the store owner, you think that everyone who comes to your store should buy. Doesn't mean in reality that anyone who clicks and comes to your store will buy. You have to think about them. They don't have the same familiarity about your product. You might say, yes, I'm the store owner, I can be trusted. But they don't know you, they don't know who you are. How are they able to trust you? The more reviews you have, let's say you have like 1,000 ratings, it doesn't have to be everyone's giving you 5 stars, but if you get an average, like even between 3 to 4 stars or so, there are people who might still decide to buy because they're going to read through every single product review as much as possible. Of course, depending on individual. Let's say maybe they see like a 1-star rating, 2-star rating, they want to read in detail why people say that your product was 1 star or 2 star. But if they feel like, okay, this customer didn't really appreciate the product, they totally ignore what you have described in your product page, and then they bought your product and then they became unhappy customers. It's not because you were offering them inferior products. It's not because you were not selling what you promised. It's because they didn't read your product description clearly and they bought the product. Usually, those potential customers are quite forgiving when it comes to that. You don't have to worry. What you need to give them confidence is as much information as possible, transparency, your store policies, your refund policy, stating clearly if there's any need for return, under what circumstances will you accept those returns, and of course shipping. Typically, if you can offer a shorter shipping turnaround delivery time, they're quite happy. And put in your shipping costs in advance if you need them to pay for the shipping cost, because there are people who put items into the basket and then they go all the way to checkout and then they see, oh my goodness, I thought shipping was free, because you were not honest and upfront at the beginning. You didn't tell them about the shipping cost, and then you plop the shipping cost number right at the end. People are not very happy, and there are people who have abandoned their cart just because they see that gigantic shipping costs at the end. Please don't do that. Put in the shipping costs up front. If you don't offer free shipping, that is fine. Most shoppers, if they actually go to a store and buy, they still need to factor in their traveling costs. They need to factor in the money that they spend on the transport or their petrol money. There's an element of shipping costs that people are willing to pay, especially if you're a small business. You tell them, sorry, we can't offer free shipping because this is too expensive. Our business cannot be sustainable. You have to pay this, and then this is when you can expect to have your products. If you're not a big e-commerce store, the gigantic who can offer free shipping like Amazon. Don't be that. Be upfront about it. Tell them the shipping cost. And if they want to return their product and there is a return cost involved, tell them about it. Put it on the return policy page. Don't make them feel as though you are trying to trick them into buying and not allowing them to return after that, and then suddenly additional costs is popping up in front of their face. They will feel that you are trying to deceive them. Encourage them to contact you if they have any questions. Put them all in, be really upfront, eliminate that barrier of mistrust or distrust. Help them to trust you. Most of the time, as a store owner, when you provide that much information, it's kind of like the salesperson telling everything, the good and the bad, everything. That's fine. They can accept it because they know you're running a business. You're trying to be as fair as possible. You still need to be profitable because they know that an unprofitable business means your business can't survive in the long term. Most people, especially if you're a small business, they are willing to accept it. As long as you are being transparent, tell them who you are not. If you can even compare your products against your competitors, because you know that people usually do that, you can also put that comparison in, because as long as you are acknowledging those questions and doubts in your customer's mind, the faster you address those issues, and if you're the one who actually pointed out, then it's more likely that the customers feel that, oh yes, they're actually addressing all the questions I have in my head. Yes, I feel that I can trust them. So your job here is for this group of people who clicks to your store and don't trust you, help them to trust you. Now that we have covered the topic about trust, we go on to the fourth group. People who did not find what they want. So sometimes you might have a small store and people who click onto one of your products, maybe they're looking for a specific product type, maybe of a certain dimension that you don't offer, or maybe a specific color. They are really keen about a certain color or a certain size that your store don't offer. In this case, then this makes it really difficult for them to decide to buy. In order to eliminate or reduce the size of this group of people, clicks who don't turn into sales, you definitely want to really optimize your product feed. Make sure you provide all those details, dimensions, and attributes of your products as much as possible to help Google to filter away those people, and then they will not click and come to your store. And the other way actually to eliminate this group of people as well is to work on your negative keyword list. I've mentioned that you can't decide on the lists of keywords that your Google Shopping ads are showing out for, but you can remove clicks from people you don't want to. What you do is you go to the keyword report in your Google ads and review the list of clicks from those keywords that you're getting from. And if you find that something is totally inappropriate, that's nothing to do with your product, you can choose to exclude them. So you can work out individual lists of keywords exclusion. Keywords exclusion type, they are exact keyword match. So if your keyword is blue trousers, blue long trousers, and you want to exclude exact match, you would put in the words in square brackets, and that will be an exact match exclusion. There are also broad keyword match. For example, if someone is looking for cheap blue trousers, and you don't want to get clicks from anyone who has the keyword cheap or very cheap or sale in their keywords, you can choose to exclude that. In this case, if you are selling products to more upmarket or mid-market, you don't want to target people who are looking for trousers of the cheaper end. So use this negative keyword exclusion feature to really refine your Google Shopping campaign and make sure that Google is only showing clicks to those people who are really serious from buying from stores like yourself, right? And that covers the 4 groups of people whom you're getting clicks from your Google Shopping ads, but they're not turning into sale. If you feel that your clicks are too low, if you're not hitting at least 0.86%, you want to get even more clicks, you want to check out one of my other videos, 13 ways to get more Google Shopping clicks, link in the top right hand corner of the screen, so you can actually increase your click-through rate to get to as close as 0.86 as quickly as possible. So the more clicks you get, and the more likely you're going to get sale from those clicks. If you're getting a large volume of clicks but not getting any sales, and you find that all of this is getting a little bit too much for you and you need help to actually scale up your Google Shopping ads to make it more profitable, you can get in touch with me. My contact details in the description and pinned comments. I help Shopify stores to scale up their Google Shopping ads and make them profitable. And of course, don't forget to download my Shopify marketing guide, link in the description and pinned comment, to look into different ways to drive free and paid traffic to your store so you don't put all your eggs into one basket. And if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like, do subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos on scaling up your Google Shopping ads to make them more profitable. I'm Clarice Lin, the RI Doctor, signing off. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!